What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today we are going to talk about the pentatonic scale. I receive questions in my comments and social media all the time about the pentatonic scale. What is the pentatonic scale? How do you use it? Why are there two different pentatonic scales? All kinds of questions about the pentatonic scale. So today we are going to dive deep into the pentatonic scales because there are two of them, and I'm going to tell you how to build them and how to use them. Before we dive into the tutorial, I am super excited to announce that the Scott Paddock SAC School is open for enrollment. So if you are looking for a better way to learn how to play the saxophone than YouTube videos and method books, and you're looking to take the guesswork out of what to practice, how to practice it, and what to practice next, then the Scott Paddock SAC School is for you. The SAC School is an online subscription-based membership, and it is set up the exact same way that I teach private lessons. So if you are looking to get some structure in your practicing and you want to get on a direct path to becoming a better saxophone player, check out the Scott Paddock SAC School. I'll put a link to the website for the SAC School in the bio. Let's get back to the tutorial and talk about the pentatonic scales. Notice I said scales with an S on the end, and that is because there are two of them. There is a major pentatonic scale and a minor pentatonic scale. Now, as we get deeper into this tutorial, you're going to realize that they're very similar, but there are two separate pentatonic scales. We are going to start off talking about the major pentatonic scale. The pentatonic scale is made up of 5 notes. Penta, meaning 5, means it's a 5-note scale. So our regular major scale has 7 notes in it. So all the pentatonic scale is a condensed version of the major scale. We get rid of 2 notes. So the notes in the major pentatonic scale are the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th degrees of the scale. So the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So in the key of C, that'd be C, D, E, G, A. Which is also the intro to My Girl. Because the pentatonic scale is everywhere. So why are we getting rid of the 4th and the 7th, and how does the pentatonic scale work? The reason we get rid of the 4th and the 7th is because in the major scale, that is where your half steps are. So between the 3rd and 4th degree, so in the key of C, the E and the F, and your 7th degree and the root, the 1, so in the key of C, that would be your B up at the top going to the C. Those are your half steps. When we get rid of the half steps in the major scale, we get rid of all of the dissonance in the major scale. So the pentatonic scale has no dissonance, so it's just a pretty sounding scale that fits everywhere, the major pentatonic scale. So again, this is what the major pentatonic scale sounds like. There is no dissonance in there, there are no half steps. So you get rid of those leading tones, and when you get rid of the leading tones, it just fits everywhere when you're talking about diatonic chords. Diatonic chords, what's a diatonic chord? That is a fancy way of saying chords based on your major scale. So when you're talking about pop music, the majority of the chords are all built on the notes that are in your major scale that song is in. So if the song is in the key of C, all of the chords in that song are built using the notes in the C major scale. Now we're talking about jazz songs. We have a bunch of things that are altered, and it usually doesn't all circle around one scale. It kind of changes around a lot. But in pop music, it's usually cycling around these chords that are always headed back to your 1 chord. To demonstrate the concept of diatonic chords, I'm going to play a diatonic chord progression that you've heard a zillion times. So I just played 1, 6, 4, 5. That means the 1 chord based in the key of C, the 6 chord based in the key of C, the 4 chord based in the key of C, and the 5 chord based in the C of key. So all of those notes had chord tones in the key of C. So that is why your pentatonic scale will work over all of those chords. And the majority of pop songs, not all of them, but probably a good 85 to 90% of them, use 3 or 4 chords that are all diatonic chords. So that is why your pentatonic scale is super popular when it comes to pop music, and it fits really well on the neck of a guitar, and guitar players use pentatonic scales all the time. Now let's talk about the minor pentatonic scale. The minor pentatonic scale is based on the minor scale. That's why it's the minor pentatonic scale. And your minor scale has a flat third and a flat seventh in it. That's what makes it minor. So your minor pentatonic scale is also going to have a flat third and a flat seventh. So your scale degrees in the minor pentatonic scale are 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. Again, 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. So that would sound like this. That scale might sound really familiar because it's one note away from the blues scale. We've talked about the blues scale a lot, and the blues scale is also a very common scale. So the difference between a minor pentatonic scale and the blues scale is the blues scale has 6 notes, 5 of them are in the minor pentatonic scale, but that 6th note is the sharp 4. So in the key of C, your C blues scale, that would be F sharp. And that just makes it sound a lot bluesier than your regular minor pentatonic scale. So I use my blues scale way more than I use my minor pentatonic scale, even though they're basically the same scale. I like that sharp 4. But this tutorial is about the minor pentatonic scale, so let's continue to talk about the minor pentatonic scale. Now, the beauty of the major and the minor pentatonic scales is they are basically the same scale when you think about them as relative major scales and relative minor scales. So if you don't know what a relative major and minor scale means, if you don't know what that term means, that means the minor scale that has the same key signature as the major scale. Now that doesn't mean they start on the same note. So like C major and C minor are not relatives because they don't have the same key signature. They both start on C, but they don't have the same key signature. When it comes to key signatures, we're talking about the scale, what's sharp and flat in that scale. So the C major scale obviously is C to C with all naturals. And if we were going to do the relative minor always starts on the 6th degree of the major scale. The 6th degree of the major scale. So in the key of C, that would be C, D, E, F, G, A. So C major and A minor are relative major and minor. And again, all that means is that C major and A minor have the same key signature. So the C major scale is from C to C with all naturals, and the A minor scale is from A to A with all naturals. So again, we're talking about key signatures. Now that you understand what relative major and relative minor are, let's look at the C major pentatonic scale, which is C, D, E, G, A. And the A minor pentatonic scale, so the relative minor pentatonic scale. That would be A, C, D, E, G. Now, they sound very different when you play them back to back like that. But they have all of the same notes in them. So the A minor pentatonic scale is basically the same as the C major pentatonic scale, except you start on the A, which is the 6th degree of the C major scale, instead of starting on the 1. But the two scales have the exact same notes in the exact same order, except one starts on a C and the other one starts on an A. So when you're using your pentatonic scales, as long as you're using the correct key, the relative major and minor, you can use your major pentatonic or your minor pentatonic. And the only difference is which one you're treating as the root. So if you treat the C, the 1 of the major scale, as the root, then it's going to sound kind of happy and pretty. If you use the A as the root, so the 6th, then it's going to sound a little bit bluesier and grittier. Again, we're using all the same notes. The notes are C, D, E, G, and A. And for the minor one, we just start on the A instead of the C. But which one you bring out as the root is going to determine whether it sounds happy and major or gritty and minor. So when it comes to your pentatonic scale, it is really good to think of them as relative major and relative minor. That way you get two scales for the price of one. And if you want to make it sound even grittier and bluesier, you can add in that sharp 4, which will turn it into a blues scale. With the pentatonic scale, you can get a whole lot of bang for your buck because you can get 3 different sounding scales all from the notes in one scale. Of course, adding in that sharp 4 for the blues scale. So you can use your major pentatonic, your minor pentatonic, and add in that sharp 4 for the blues scale. So the pentatonic scales are going to be one of your more useful scales that you can learn, especially over pop music. I do want to emphasize that the pentatonic scale is very useful over pop songs or songs that use diatonic chords. In other words, chords that are built on your major scale. However, if you are playing a jazz song or you're playing a song that has chord changes that have altered chords or chord tones that are not in your major scale, your pentatonic scale, especially your major pentatonic scale, will not fit over all of the chords. So a really good way to think about your pentatonic scale is that it is a very user-friendly scale for pop songs. If you're checking out this video on the pentatonic scale, I am guessing that you are just starting your improvisation journey. If you'd like some structure in your improvisation journey, I would definitely suggest checking out the Scott Paddock SAC School. My SAC School has a course that is dedicated to improvisation. So we start off with one-note solos and we build from there, and I show you how to read chords, how the chords change, how the chords are related to each other, how your key signatures work when it comes to chords. I just take you step by step and teach you how to improvise starting from scratch all the way up into learning how to read chord symbols. So if you're interested in checking that out, the link is in the bio. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. If you now understand what the pentatonic scales are and how to use them, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your fellow saxophone playing friends. Thanks a lot.